Forgotten Cinema is getting romantic for our 8th season and just in time for Valentine's Day as we cover the 90s ensemble drama, Beautiful Girls.
We'll then do a complete 180 as we dive into some spy films, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy and Spy Game.
We'll find out why white men can't jump and whether you should shoot to kill while enjoying a Frankenweenie. Nope, that doesn't make any sense.
You know what else doesn't make sense? This season will also feature our 100th episode of Forgotten Cinema.
Feels like 100 years.
Don't I know it?
Forgotten Cinema. Never stop, never stopping. Yes, that's a hint. Part of the Forgotten Entertainment family.
Do you like beer?
Do you like podcasts?
Do you like beer podcasts?
Then check out Crackin' One Open, a podcast about brews, news, and pop culture reviews.
Every week, we crack open a new craft beer from breweries around the country.
And sometimes the world.
We'll talk about how it was made, what's in it, the history of the brew, and the brewery.
Then we'll give our tasting notes, and while we're finishing up, we'll talk about some of the latest goings-on in the world of pop culture.
So check out Crackin' One Open with Mike and Elise, part of the Forgotten Entertainment family.
Hello there, and welcome Nerdy Knights, the well-rounded table, to Bohemian Geek Studies, where we take extremely dorky dives into our favorite fandoms. I'm Colleen McMillan, Jedi Master and Rebel Scum collaborator.
And I am Pirate Jedi Anders Drew. But no matter what rank you carry, one thing will always remain constant. Much to learn, we still have.
Yeah, both Sabine and Kanan have a lot to learn these episodes.
A lot to learn.
Whew, so much learning. This season on Bohemian Geek Studies, we're taking a detailed turkey dive into Star Wars Rebels. Today, we're diving into Season 3, Episodes 15 and 16, some of my favorites, Trials of the Darksaber, and Legacy of Mandalore.
These are really good. These are really good.
Really strong duo here. I like
Yeah.
it.
We have done our absolute best to scramble our signature, and we will be avoiding spoilers for future episodes of Rebels, but I am going to throw in an adult content warning for the younglings. There's there's
Sabine's
talk
brother's
later.
hot, y'all.
Sabine's not looking too bad herself.
Yeah, she looks really cute.
Mm-hmm. But without further ado, let's hop on board the Phantom 2 and head to Krownest to meet Sabine's totally understanding and chill as fuck mom as we explore our holocrons of knowledge. Colleen, let's go right ahead and punch it with that first holocron.
Indeed, we will. We're going to hop right into the first holocron, the Journal of the Wills, where we go over the plot and episode synopsis for the episodes this week. First up is Trials of the Darksaber. Like I said, one of my favorites, probably one of my top 5 Rebels episodes. I love this episode, y'all. Kanan brings Fen Rao to his cabin to show him the Darksaber that they recovered from Maul's cave in Visions and Voices. Rao gives the full history of the blade and its place in the minds and hearts of the Mandalorian people. Together, along with Hera. Yeah, that sequence is fantastic. Beautiful animation in there.
Mm-hmm.
It reminded me a lot of how they differentiated the Tale of the Three Brothers.
It's exactly what I was thinking of at
Harry
the time.
Potter
Yeah.
and the Deathly Hallows. Like, excellent choice here, you guys, to switch up the animation style because it was really, really cool. Together, along with Hera, they convince Sabine to take up the blade, learn how to wield it, and help rally her people to the rebellion's cause. That's a lot to ask.
Of a, what, 17-year-old? 16, maybe?
I think Ezra at this point is 17 or 18, so Sabine's either 18 or 19.
Okay.
At this point, I think. No one really knows. Rebels,
yeah.
Until the very end, we know that Ezra is 19. So it's like, we're not exactly sure where they are in their ages right now. Fen gives Sabine some extra weapons after Kanan agrees to teach her, and things aren't going very well. Yeah, these weapons are really cool. They're Vamp braces that aid Mandalorians in fighting Jedi, which leads to a blowout fight between Sabine and Kanan. Their frustrations with each other boiling over. It's very intense.
It's really not even, and it's frustrations with each other, but it's really frustrations with themselves. Each one of them, frustrations with themselves.
Yep, and the scenario. Like, nobody really wants this to be happening. It's just kind of what needs to happen. Thanks to some comfort from Ezra doing his best little, he's so sweet in this part. He's a little shit at first because he's...
Yeah, but it's still in kind of a fun way.
Yes. His emotional intelligence is very good. Like, he knows to go after her and knows how to try and comfort her, which is like, good boy, Ezra, thank you, because she really needed that. She does, or not she, Kanan, thank the good Lord, gets some wisdom and a little bit of a takedown from Hera. She's like, this is about you, babe. It's
This is about you.
Sabine.
You are doing bad.
Yeah, you're doing terribly though. So we're gonna give you your teacher review now and tell you to improve. So after this, Kanan and Sabine are working on their attitudes with each other. During the training, Sabine learns to come to terms with her guilt over leaving her family, which is very intense. The weapons she built were used against Mandalore, and she fled to protect everyone. But she was branded a traitor, and her family chose to stay with the Empire instead of standing with her.
Rough sequence.
Yes,
Also
that
really
entire
great though,
episode was so
because
hard.
I'm glad that they had her. I am glad that they had her basically just like use that time to effectively beat the crap out of Kanan. Because you could have just as easily had her kind of like break down, like drop the blade and kind of collapse on her own. And that would have just not been very Sabine.
But she doesn't. She stands the whole time.
She
Even when she's
stands.
having her breakdown, she's still
Yeah,
like towering above Kanan, which is great because he's like 6'3".
it's fantastic. Yeah.
So it's really cool that she gets to take him down.
So then we move into part 2, Legacy of Mandalore. That opens up with Ezra, Sabine, Kanan, and Fenrau approaching the planet Krownest. Their comms are jammed and they are shot at. I like to think that that's like a Mandalorian hello. That's just how they say hi. The Phantom quote unquote lands, Reed crashes. And Kanan has Fenrau kind of just like stay out of sight for now. We're going to hold you in reserve because I have a feeling this ain't going to go well. Shockingly predictive.
What could possibly go wrong with some Mandalorians?
Yes. After what really is a Mandalorian welcome, a small firefight between everybody on the ground, Sabine and her brother kind of reveal to each other, hey, it's me.
Yeah.
So Tristan escorts the group back to the stronghold where Sabine talks herself out of being tossed into a cell by her own mother with the Darksaber.
Yeah.
And it's actually weird. So this scene now where she's like in the throne room and it's like your family and you brought like the family you have now.
Yeah.
Like such a weird timeliness that we're recording this now. Spoilers if you have not watched the most recent episode of Marvel's What If on Disney Plus, where T'Challa becomes Star-Lord and the episode ends with him bringing like the Guardians of the Galaxy crew back to meet the Wakandans. It's like family I was born with. Meet the family I found along the way.
Yeah.
Much more heartwarming and nice in the Marvel version.
Yes.
This is kind of contentious. So Ursa Wren at least outwardly agrees to hear Sabine out, but she doesn't really look too ready to be convinced into joining the rebellion and leaving the Empire.
No.
She does kind of crack a little bit and says she has ultimately been forced to align herself with Gar Saxon in order to maintain some level of status and actually to keep Sabine's father alive, because he is not on Krownest. He is back on Mandalore, pretty much being held prisoner. So Sabine hands her mother the Darksaber, even though
weird choice.
Ursa just like moments earlier was like, Sabine, you have no claim to that saber. And Sabine's like, well, I'm holding it. And then she's totally willing right a minute later to be like, okay, you have it.
Yeah. Strange choice, but they did it because it needed to happen for the episode, but still a very strange choice. All right, so Tristan and Sabine head for some sparring practice, which is pretty adorable, while Ursa makes contact with Gar Saxon, which is less adorable, attempting to barter the Jedi for Sabine's safety. So, like, yes, she still does care about her daughter, but also, let's not call Gar fucking Saxon.
Of anybody, really?
Stupid choice right there from Ursa Wren. Meanwhile, Fenrau, infiltrates the base and steals back Ezra and Kanan's lightsabers because he's amazing. Ursa captures the Jedi and Tristan takes his frustrations out on Sabine, revealing in his anger Ursa's plan. Whoopsies. Gar Saxon comes in to take custody of the prisoners and the Darksaber. Predictably, he betrays Ursa, shocking, and plans to take out the entirety of Clan Wren. Right there in that room. Rao comes in at the last moment to give the Jedi their lightsabers. Yes! So cool. And a fight breaks out, because of course it does. Ezra tosses his lightsaber to Sabine. I love this part.
That's an
no
amazing
hesitation
moment.
whatsoever.
None.
He's just like, yeet! And he throws it right into Sabine's hand. It was perfect. She uses this to deflect Saxon's Darksaber from killing her mother. That was amazing. Like, yes, protect your mom, even though she's a bitch. You still love your mom. The two are thrown out into the snow where they begin to duel. One of the coolest fight sequences I think that's ever happened with a lightsaber on screen. Sabine wins and shows her fallen enemy mercy by not killing him. He shows his gratitude by trying to shoot her in the back. But Ursa's like, not my daughter, you bitch, and shoots him in the chest, and he dead.
Would have been really cool if he also, like, if he like fell through the ice too. Just like, yeah, we don't need to see you anymore.
No, goodbye. I did think that the ice was going to crack at some point.
Like, kind of like a Batman Begins type deal. So Ezra and Kanan gather their stuff. They head back to the rebellion, back on Adelon. Chopper, manages to show up. One of the only times Chopper doesn't save the day. He's just like, you know what? You guys handle this. I'll come in when you need a ride.
Like, fuck the Mandalorians. No.
Not doing this.
No.
But Sabine decides to stay on Krownest with her family. Sabine is leaving us, everybody.
I was not prepared for this when it happened. I'm like, there's no way she's
they can't
gone,
do that.
Right? She's not going to get on the.
So they have come to the decision that Mandalore may sympathize with the rebellion, but they can't officially join it. The Mandalore, that's just not kind of how the Mandalorians roll. They need to stand up on their own to resist.
Yeah, before they can help anybody.
Yeah. So Sabine has decided she's going to stay and help that happen. Fen Rao compliments her on her strength and her worthiness to lead Mandalore with the Darksaber. But Sabine says she's not a leader. It's just not her. She's going to carry the Darksaber for now, but she's going to find the right person to hand it to.
Ooh.
Great episodes. So let's get right into, Colleen, our second holocron, The Will of the Force, where we go through the themes of the episodes.
Yes. Okay, so for Trials of the Darksaber, our theme is forgiving yourself and facing yourself. Kanan and Fen Rao basically force Sabine to face her past in this episode. They force her to, and not gently either. They make her come to terms with her shame and her guilt that she's been feeling since she fled the Imperial Academy and her parents. She's almost going through a Jedi trial here while she's training with the Darksaber. Got kind of long, dark night of the soul where she has to get through her emotional barriers in order to effectively wield the blade. It does work. By making her confront her past actions, she is able to successfully wield the Darksaber and holds her own against Kanan, which is pretty cool. Even Ezra can't really do that yet. I mean, we haven't really seen them spar lately. He might be able to
definitely Kanan is not going like 100%.
No,
but
definitely
still,
not. Still, it's pretty. He is like, oh shit, like she's fucking
better than he thought she was going to be able to do.
Yes. Yeah. I think she definitely blew past his expectations, which was fantastic to see. Fen Rao believed her all the time, which is also really cool to see.
Yeah, but he also believed that she needed to use those
the Vamp braces.
The Vamp braces, which actually she uses in a different way. Like she uses them to grapple the saber.
Yes. And then she uses them again in the second episode, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Like, yes, she effectively knows how to use these weapons, which is cool. Speaking of the next episode, episode 16, our theme is forging your own way. Sabine, she's been reflecting on herself in her past, but she's also not sorry that she left the Imperial Academy to join the rebellion. She doesn't. She's like, oh, no, I made the right choice. Even if the choice hurt her, it was still her choice. And she stands firm in that decision, which her mom eventually is kind of grudgingly proud of her for. She's like, well, at least you have conviction. You didn't just leave for no reason.
Yeah.
Even though she's disappointed. Like, Ursa Wren is totally that parent who says, I'm so disappointed in you. And it hurts so badly.
When would she really, I think she kind of she's starting to get to the point where I don't agree with your choice, but I respect your right to make it.
Because she still sees Sabine as a child.
Yeah.
And it's like, at this point, Sabine is probably 18. So it's like, she's not a child anymore, but that's that parental thing of slipping back into the behaviors you had when your kid was younger. And the kid thing too, they slip back into the behaviors with the parents. Like they start fighting pretty much immediately, which is not surprising considering that they are both very similar.
Oh, they're
Which I'm
so
sure
similar. Oh my god.
really, really, really similar, which I'm sure that Sabine is not too happy with most of the time. And Ursa probably too is like, oh God, my mother swore that I'd be cursed with a daughter who's just like me. Oh, the Wrens, we love them. Speaking of the Wrens, Anders, what is our series theme?
So normally we just have our family you choose, but this week also we get to see the family you lose.
Ugh.
Sabine says the word family numerous times throughout these 2 episodes. She mentions that the ghost crew are now her family. And because of that, she doesn't need to connect with the rest of the Wrens. She doesn't have to go back because she has her family right here. Obviously, that can't last forever.
No.
And Ezra has that great moment where he reminds her she has a family to go back to. He doesn't.
No.
Like, the ghost crew is his family now, but he doesn't have any other options.
Nope. He does not.
Sounds weird calling them options, but it is kind of what they are. Like, Sabine uses that option. She ultimately chooses to go back there.
Can't fight it. You can't fight what your heart wants. And your heart wants your mom.
Yep. And in the end, I mean, Kanan, he reminds Sabine that their family, the ghost family, will stand by her no matter what they choose. Even if they don't like the fact that she's leaving, they will absolutely support her in that decision.
Yep. Which is really important.
Contrasted very much with Ursa Wren.
Ooh, yeah. Ursa has a long way to go in our hearts and minds.
Yes.
Hopefully she'll get there. Okay, next we are going to head into our third holocron, which is the Galaxy's Populace, which we go over the characters in the episodes and the relationships that were further established or established. First, we have to start with Sabine. She's the main focus of these 2 episodes. She even gets her own musical theme that will continue throughout the rest of the series. Super mournful, super kind of sad, her theme, but it is very beautiful. And whenever you hear it, you're like instantly think of Sabine. So before we dive into her character, I just need to say this. Sabine had 2 lightsabers on Gar Saxon's neck and did not chop off his head. Anakin.
Would have been a really kind of a missed opportunity for an Easter egg there if, like, she's got them there and you cut to, like, Tristan or somebody who, like, under his breath is just like, do it.
Somewhere Emperor Palpatine is like, I should be telling someone to do something right now. I can't quite pinpoint where.
I feel a
why.
disturbance in the Force.
Yeah, there's a disturbance. I need to figure something out. Oh my gosh, we're very sorry, Anakin. I mean, you had a lot of choices to make, and we can't.
And
say
you
whether
made the
that
wrong
was right
one.
or wrong. In that instance, yes, I think he pretty much did, because it broke his mind a little bit when he did that. And I think the same would have happened to Sabine here. I think she would have been emotionally kind of drained if she had done it. And I'm glad that she made the decision, even though it was probably not necessarily the not right decision maybe, but would have been smarter to kill him. But we can go over that later. Right now, we're going to go into her relationships with Ezra and Kanan. Adorable. Love them here. Ezra and Sabine get into that little sibling rivalry thing, like, who's dad's favorite? Let's see, let's find out. In no way is Ezra hoping Sabine doesn't do well. He wants her to do well, but he's definitely attempting to flaunt his experience over here, which is pretty hilarious. This is a very younger sibling. Anything you can do, I can do better.
I mean, to his credit, he's been training to do this for the past couple of years.
Yes. So yes, he is going to be better than her at this. And the fact that she doesn't have the Force to help her also, he's like, well, you don't have the Force. Like, how are you supposed to do this? But he's also very quick to comfort her when things aren't going well. When Sabine and Kanan start fighting for real, Ezra moves to stop it like a few times. He's like standing up and being like, but Fenrir's like, nah, dude, this is not the place for a little brother to step in. I do love that his instinct is always to help and to always help Sabine. It's a testament to the trust they've built over the series so far that despite the ups and downs of the episode, Ezra doesn't hesitate to toss her his own damn lightsaber. to defend herself and her mother. Like, nothing. He's just, whoop. Sabine, here you go. Have a
She
weapon.
catches it seamless.
Yep. It's perfect. They are very much in sync. Even if they don't necessarily have a force connection, they've got some sort of connection going on here that they can just seamlessly work together like this. And then we have poor Kanan, the reluctant teacher, is back. He can't help but want to help, like, keep his kids safe. That's basically, I think, where a lot of his issues come from, is that he doesn't want them to have to do these things, but they do have to. So it's kind of like, oh, Kanan, you need to, like, get over yourself and just do it. Hera's right that he's holding back with Sabine in this episode, treating her differently than Ezra. And he doesn't mean to. I don't think, like, he does want to protect her. And he's like, I don't know if she can handle a fucking lightsaber. Like, this is a laser sword. We don't know what's going to happen here.
I mean, I would think that Sabine is pretty capable in hand-to-hand combat. Yes, the lightsaber is a little bit different, and the Darksaber is even a little bit different on top of that. But she's
very capable.
She's very capable.
And he knows that. So it's like, Kanan, what are you doing? It's very frustrating at the beginning of the episode because of this. She's a very hands-on learner and has problem with authority figures as it is. So he is, like, not hitting any of the teaching milestones that she needs. Like, she needs an explanation. Sabine from season 1 has been like, I want to know what's going on. I want to know the reasons for why we do things. And Kanan has just, like, forgotten that she needs that. Like, He eventually does follow through on Hero's advice and doesn't hold back against Sabine, basically dragging the truth out of her, which she's been holding on to for years. Like, oh, it's all very intense. It works out in the end, but it could have gone horribly wrong.
Yeah, it absolutely could have.
Like, Kanan, you're lucky that Sabine loves you.
So we meet Sabine's actual blood family for the first time, most of them anyway. Ursa and Tristan Wren. Both of these are brand new characters. We've never seen them before, and they have a lot of nuance for first appearances on the show. I mean, both of them will really do whatever it takes to help their family survive. I mean, Tristan joined up with Gar Saxon specifically to protect his family. Yep. Don Toretto would approve. They seem to put the name of the family first.
Yes, family is everything. I can't believe we've got a Fast and Furious reference.
Oh, 100%. Are you kidding me? The amount of times we're saying family in this thing is absolutely yes.
That is fair.
Although Ursa is a little bit more focused on just kind of keeping the clan as a whole around, whereas Tristan is kind of worried about the individual members. He's really worried about his father, his mother. To a degree, he's absolutely still worried about Sabine.
Yeah.
But that also makes sense because Ursa is the clan's leader. Like, that's not only her family, it's her job. And by tradition, she has a lot of responsibility. And that responsibility for keeping them all alive in a time that is rife with conflict is a very heavy burden. Now, these are Mandalorians. A time rife with conflict is kind of all the time. But now we have everything else going on in the galaxy as well. Mandalore really just doesn't have the independence it used to.
No.
So Ursa was a member of Death Watch and the Night Owls during the Clone Wars. So she has really, really strong ties to both House Vizsla and House Kryze. And the political maneuverings of Mandalorians really just aren't that high on Sabine's list of priorities.
No.
Like, she's kind of like, yeah, you guys go do that. That's fine. But we need to fight the Empire. Like, can we just come back to that?
Yeah. Put a pin in it. We'll come back.
Put a pin in the position of your house, and can we just do the thing where we stay alive? But it's obviously still important. I mean, considering the fact that Gar Saxon just, like, shows up and is like, I'm gonna wipe out your entire clan. It's an important thing to do, to deal with.
Very important for Mandalorians, especially. Like, you need to keep your status, otherwise other clans could unite to wipe you out. And that's basically what Ursa's really worried about, which is understandable. Getting back to Gar fucking Saxon. Gar Saxon and Ben Rao, these two, lots of masculinity being thrown around with these two. They are diametrically opposed because of who they served during the Clone Wars, and they both want to take the other out, which is hilarious. Freaking Garsaxon's always like, Fenro! Oh my god, you're still alive. Like, yes, of course he is. It works out for Fenro in the end here, though. Garsaxon was Maul's second in command. He's gunned down by Ursa Wren in these episodes. Thank the good Lord. Like, we did not need any more Garsaxon. Oh my gosh, yes. Love it. He should have been fine because he went down in like a very Mandalorian duel. So it's like you should be at least proud that you were taken out.
A good death.
Yeah, except he dishonored himself by trying to shoot Sabine in the back.
Yep.
I was a little curious about that. Was he wearing Beskar? Because it kind of looked like he was, but then Ursa hit him in the chest. Like maybe she got.
I have a feeling it could, because it was like stormtroopery. It was like Empire issued. I have a feeling it wasn't. I have a feeling it wasn't Beskar. They like to cut corners on that stuff.
That's very true. Yeah, the clones are like, look at that shit armor they've got.
Look at that shit armor. The Kaminoans knew how to build stuff.
Damn right they did. Either way, Garsaxon is out of power, thank the good Lord, and there will be turmoil at the capital of Sindari. Like, this is going to shake some shit up.
Mm-hmm.
I do love that Fenro is so interested in getting a new leader for Mandalore. He's chosen Sabine to wield the Darksaber, not himself. Like, super interesting. Most Mandalorians would be clamoring to get a hold of the Darksaber, at least like the more elite upper branches who are looking for power. Yet Rao is faithful to his protector vows and chooses not to take it. Instead, he chooses to protect Sabine. I'm like,
and she's choosing. She has it for now, but she's absolutely choosing not to be the one to take it.
Which could be interesting moving forward with the Ahsoka show and the Mandalorian show.
Yes.
Like, is Sabine eventually going to be the one to take control of Mandalore?
Well, she's had an extra 20 years, maybe.
Maybe. We shall see.
We shall see. All right, let's move now into our fourth holocron, Binding the Galaxy Together. This is our homages and Easter eggs. And speaking of the Darksaber, it's got some very Arthurian legends around it, being the chosen one to wield this legendary blade. Only the worthy can kind of handle it, and including in that really beautiful animation sequence when the members of Clan Vizsla steal the saber back from the Jedi Temple, they really do kind of draw it like doing the sword out of the stone from its position, and surrounded by knights that I'm pretty sure they probably just wiped the floor with at the time.
Yeah, everything's fine.
Yeah, everything's fine. It's okay.
Everything's fine on Mandalore. And moving on to that, Death Watch and Clan Vizsla. We've discussed this before. They're big parts of Mandalorian culture. A reference to the Clone Wars arc with Duchess Satine and one of the many Mandalorian civil wars. So many. Check out our episodes on Visions and Voices to get more info on this.
Yes. And Hera's line here, she says, family history can be painful. Believe me, I know. This we've seen Hera's kind of friction with her father, but it absolutely hits a little bit harder now that we've seen her episodes, Rescue on Ryloth of the Bad Batch, where we saw some more of her family.
Yeah, her mom. Everyone watched the Bad Batch. It's just wonderful.
Oh, it is.
You get so much more backstory for certain things.
And then check out our episodes on them.
Yes, we do a lot of little deep dives into the Bad Batch with our friend Daniel. Get the Bad Batch coverage. This, I laughed really hard at this. First lesson, don't try, just learn. Thanks, Ezra. A nice little update on Yoda's do or do not mantra. He's being a pain in the ass here, but he's not wrong. And I think this is actually a lot nicer.
Yeah, like, it's a lot more straightforward than Yoda's like do or do not, there is no try. It's like kind of getting the message home.
Exactly. Like, don't try, just learn. And learning like is trying, basically. But then it's not as like, oh, stodgy. Like, Ezra's got a hip new spin on it. This is what the kids are saying these days. Oh, Ezra, I love you so
Pretty
much.
soon it'll come with a TikTok.
Oh God, yes. Ezra would totally be into TikTok. God.
He'd rope Zeb into it somehow too.
Okay.
All right, next up we have small appearances, kind of blink and you'll miss it, from the Convor Birds and Bendu in Trials of the Darksaber. They are very, very brief. But the Convors represent Ahsoka, a former Jedi who had to find her way kind of out on her own. And if Bendu is showing up, Sabine must be in some way connecting with the Force. Definitely not as much as like a Jedi would or a Sith would, but she's making connections. She's opening herself up to this in order to learn how to wield the Darksaber.
Yep, because Kanan says everyone has access to the Force. They just have to be open to it. I love this. We love this idea that's so central to Star Wars, though it wasn't covered super well in Rise of Skywalker, which we go over in our Yet Another Star Wars podcast extensively. We did get a glimpse of it with Broom Boy and Last Jedi, and now Sabine is able to connect with the Darksaber by opening herself up to the Force, even though she doesn't really realize she's doing it. Like she says at first, the blade is heavy. And then as she's using it and like connecting with it more, she's like, oh, it's lighter now. And that's really weird. Like it should either be heavy or it should be light, but no, the Force helps her wield the blade. Love it. Love it.
So Trials of the Darksaber really has a lot of callbacks to kind of the early Kanan Ezra training days. You know, Kanan as the reluctant teacher, he has huge lack of confidence that he can actually pull this off, just like he did with Ezra. Sabine kind of filling Ezra's role with that frustration at not making faster progress, or and it all, of course, culminates in everyone coming to terms with themselves because Kanan gets a complete dressing down from Hera, whose emotional intelligence manages to fix everything by forcing them to talk it out.
Oh my God, people talk in Star Wars.
Hera reminds Kanan that it's not about him, which is a really big thing when it comes to teaching. It is about the student. It is not about you.
No, it's not. He needs to do what Sabine needs. Come on. Hera's like, let's get this snappy. Like, come on, we need you back at the base. Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, this kills me every freaking time. Ursa Wren's freaking ego portrait hanging above her throne. I love it so much. This isn't so much an Easter egg as it is a headcanon that I have. I think Sabine's father painted this portrait for Ursa as a gift because he is an artist. Either maybe as like a courting gift or for some sort of anniversary, like maybe she was mad at him for something and he's like, look at this though. You look amazing here. Either way, she freaking loves it because it is hanging at prominence in the middle of the freaking room.
Absolutely.
I love it. Just like, oh man. Yes.
Speaking of paint, we do get a good shot of the Phantom 2 with its new paint job. From a couple episodes ago, they mentioned that Sabine was going to have to give it a paint job, but it looks like she did. It looks good.
It looks really good. Sabine's stuff always looks so good.
It really does.
I just love that they put her touch kind of on everything. So then I'm sure Tristan freaking sees it and he's like, I know my sister's art style.
Yes.
Oh, it's so good. Okay, next we have the Mandalorian Vamp braces. These are the weapons that Fen Rao gives Sabine. They're super useful against any foe, including Jedi. The weapons included in the Vamp braces are a shield emitter, which we see her use a couple times, a flamethrower, which Din Djarin also has in his Vamp braces in The Mandalorian. There's a repulsor, a grappling line, which is really cool, a paralyzing darts, and then a pair of blaster barrels. Like, there's a lot of shit in these things. Mandalorians know how to like compartmentalize stuff.
They really do.
It's very handy.
All right, so this next one may be just me, but I want to throw it out there because if I can see it, hopefully someone else does out there. I always thought, ever since the first time I saw it, that the stronghold on Krownest looks just like the fortress from that last dream level in Inception when they're going after the snow fort.
Yes, it really does. It's like the perfect rich person's house, like a lake house.
Like nestles down in the valley, so you get the mountains all over the place.
The glass, like all of the glass surrounding the windows in the front. I'm like, a rich person lives. They have all this glass. It's very beautiful. It's very befitting, I think, of Clan Wren. Like it's very eclectic. I think they're like, because they're not technically like Mandalorians, they are, but they're from a different world. I like that they gave them kind of a different look.
A little bit of a different look, and it's also like kind of out of the way. Like I could imagine someone like Gar Saxon walking in and being like, "Oh, you tried, I guess." Yeah,
right. You're like, this is nothing like the capital.
Yeah.
If only.
New money, I guess.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally new money. Architecture Digest like did a piece on them. Making Gar Saxon freaking jealous because he probably has like a freaking stone castle or some shit. Okay. And then last but not least, we have the Emperor's Hand. Tristan refers to Gar Saxon as the Emperor's Hand. This is a really interesting term for people who are familiar with Mara Jade from Legends, because she is the Emperor's Hand. Yeah, I heard that title and was like, excuse me, the ginger anger ball is the hand. It's like, does this just mean that he's like the Emperor's Hand for Mandalore? Maybe, I guess.
Probably.
Because like Mara was the Emperor's Hand for like everything.
Mara's the Emperor's Hand, Vader's the Emperor's Fist.
For sure. Oh my gosh.
All right, guys. Well, before we move into our next Holocron, just want to take a minute to tell you that this week our episode is brought to you by Fiverr. Do you need a freelancer to help you out with your website, whether it's a designer or someone who might just be able to help you write some expert articles and blogs? Or maybe you need a presentation designer to help you with a big work project? Look no further than the #1 freelance marketplace, Fiverr. You can find designers, programmers, and more within seconds, sometimes as low as just $5 per gig. Fiverr is the ideal tool to help you with pressing projects. Just post your gig or start a search and you're off. Don't deal with the hassle of finding freelancers all on your own. Let Fiverr help you. See the link in our show notes to get started. Please note, Bohemian Geek Studies is an affiliate partner of Fiverr, so we do get commissions on purchases and services you buy after you click the link. Those commissions help support the growth of BGS, and we appreciate your continued support.
Okay, everyone, it is time to head into our 5th Holocron, the Newbie from Naboo. This is Flo's first time watching Rebels. We're very excited for her to watch these episodes in particular today. We've tasked her with watching the episodes, giving us her questions and her takes. Before we check in with our ambassador for Naboo, I do have to tell y'all about this little Rebels episode guide that was sent to me as bait by a friend of the pod, Jason Zambricki, that little pot stirrer. The list was a travesty. It was a horror show. I wanted to yeet it into the Twin Suns, which was on their skippable episodes list. For real, Twin Suns. Flo will know when we get there. But then
Excited.
One of our episodes for today was on the skip list, Trials of the Darksaber.
It's just no.
Wait, one of these was on the skip list?
Yes.
Yeah. Jason didn't write this guide, right? I'd have to
No.
have some words.
Whoa.
He did not. He sent it to me and was like, look what just got posted in one of the web. I'm like, oh,
You should really just stop opening messages, Colleen. It's not good for your health.
Look, apparently from Jason. I mean, I was like, Jason, you know what this has done. And he's like,
Friend of the pod, Jason, you need to curate your content better before you send it to Colleen. She's gonna have like a breakdown if you keep sending her this crazy shit.
Seriously.
It was okay. Everybody piled on the list on the post, which was fantastic. It's just like, no, this is atrocious. Should never see the light of day again. It's just not
Yeah,
correct.
that's wild.
Yeah, I just wait until we get to Twin Suns and you'll be like, they said to skip this.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Also,
Flo.
I just wanted to say, like, I love how we're still like, woo, newbie from Naboo. It's been like, I don't know, 30 episodes. We're just as excited as for the first one. It's
You're
amazing.
still the newbie from Naboo, though.
I'm
You're
still the
just
young,
seeing
fresh
this.
face of
The
Naboo.
ingenue.
Okay, let's get into these episodes. 2 episodes today, starting with Trials of the Darksaber, which I cannot believe somebody would say to skip. That's some wild shit. Okay, I really liked this one. So that was super exciting. Okay,
So good.
I want to start off with Fen Rao. Okay. When I saw Fen Rao in this episode without his helmet, right? But with still like the helmet thing with the ear things, right?
Yeah.
Immediately I was like, is he deep sea diving? And why is he Jacques Cousteau? So I was just like, what is happening here? And then I realized like he just didn't have his helmet on, but I was just like, what is this guy doing?
Mhm.
So that was hilarious. Also, this is a big Fen Rao episode, and the next one is as well. And so like I feel much better about Fen Rao after these 2, obviously. But
Good.
still he's like a little bit prickly.
Yes.
He's a prickly guy. Okay.
Yes.
Sabine is super distraught in this one, which was really difficult to see. But also she was a badass, so that was
Yeah.
amazing to see. The family you choose obviously was like the big theme of this one
Mhm.
and the next one. Although we'll get to the next one. I definitely have a problem with it, but we'll get there. Hera talking sense into Sabine was so lovely. It was like, Hera is really just an incredible mom. Like,
Yes.
I guess I don't know exactly how long she's known Sabine, or like a couple years at this point, right?
Yeah.
So like she's just like the best like foster mom, like friend mom, just like just the best. Sabine fighting with Ezra. She goes, "I'll damage you if you don't shut up." And I was just like, I'm obsessed with you.
I love their dynamic. It's so good.
And like their dynamic was scintillating in this one. Like it just sizzled, and like I couldn't decide if it was like flirty or brother sistery, but like either way, I loved it. I was very surprised at Kanan's teaching techniques here.
Please continue.
It was definitely, obviously I'm a teacher, for those of you who don't know. I'm teaching second grade this year. This is my first week back at work. I'm exhausted. Anyways, Kanan, like when he was training Ezra, was very like patient, loving, like I thought, you know, at least more than here. Here with Sabine, like he is not pulling any punches. He's just like, well, bam, like let's go, like, and like almost goading her into.
I believe they refer to that as differentiation.
Yes, yes, except I don't think that he was actually differentiating for Sabine in
No,
a
he
way
was
that
not.
was like appropriate for her.
No, he was not. Sarcasm.
Like, yeah, but it is. Here's the thing: like, I feel like he needed more scaffolding for her, which
There
is
you
something that we do
go.
in education.
That would be the wooden sabers.
Yes. And like, I just feel like he didn't meet her where she was, which is also a big thing in education. Like you meet the student where they are, and he was just like pushing her and like berating her. It was almost like Severus Snape situation where he was like, it was a little too intense, honestly, like for this girl who's obviously suffering. Like, I feel like he was trying to do this like tough love, like snap her out of it thing.
Right.
I don't think it worked, and I don't think that usually works. So that was like a tricky one, especially because like he is such a father figure to her. Like he's not just a teacher. They don't just have that kind of relationship. And so I feel like he was really lacking on the just like nurturing side of what probably should have happened here.
Yeah. Like no compassion. It was like, where's your
Yeah.
famous Jedi compassion?
I know. And I feel like we haven't seen
That's
this
reserved for
Kanan.
Force users.
That's fair.
That was shitty. Like,
Yeah. He was.
what is
he was
this
very
like
scared.
elite behavior over here? Like freaking Kanan, like chill out. Like you're hot, but that doesn't excuse you.
Right? Like you don't have to treat Sabine with kid gloves because she has talent. Like she is able.
Yes. And at the same time, like she's also very sensitive, and like this is a big deal. Like
It's huge.
this is a piece of like her personal family history, and like in ways that Kanan probably doesn't understand.
No.
And he's acting like he does, and it's like, no, like you don't understand what this means to my culture.
No.
And here you are like berating me about it, which whatever, it was not cool. However, I loved seeing Ezra and Sabine just like working on their sword play. I thought that was just so cute. Very like samurai feel in this episode. I feel like the shots that we got, and like even like the music accompaniment was like very Japanese samurai feely.
Yes.
I love how Hera
Sensei.
yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. Also, this is a side note, but when Evan and I took ballroom dancing, our ballroom dance teacher made us call him Sensei. Anyways, it was pretty hilarious.
I'd be so into that. I'd be like, oh yeah, we're really
So
dancing
shout out
now.
to you, Sensei Oda, if you are listening.
I'd be like, we picked the right class.
Yeah, a half unit elective. It was so great. I like that Hera called out Kanan's teaching techniques
Yes.
here. I say techniques loosely. It was really just like not teaching. Anyways. And like Kanan and Hera were unmatched in this episode.
Yeah.
They're so
They
good. They're so good.
In
People who
very
didn't
little
think they
time
were a
together,
couple,
too.
Like, what the hell?
That is the thing with Kanan and Hera's relationship, is like we get so little screen time of them. They get so few minutes of like them as a couple, and yet it's like
Obvious.
absolutely sizzling.
Yes.
Like, wow, y'all are wild. And I'm obsessed with you. Fenrir came in clutch. He was able to reach Sabine in a way that Kanan could not, which was lovely.
Yep.
Okay, I don't exactly know when this happened, but I wrote "fuck yes, Sabine" with the quote "more than you can handle."
Yeah. She says it to Ezra.
That's what I figured.
Yeah.
What have you got there?
Love that. Oh yeah. Oh, that's right. That was so.
That's when she
He's
has the
such a pain in
gauntlets.
ass.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Yes.
That was so good. The Jedi versus Mandalorian plot was hard only because I'm sure we saw some of it in Clone Wars, but like I obviously have not. Okay. Or
I
we
do-
didn't.
Well, in terms of the actual conflict, not so much. It's something that's
Okay.
really only ever been
Yeah.
hinted at.
Like thousands of years before.
Got okay, got
And
it.
the Mandalorians were even worse.
Yeah.
It just felt like there was a lot of unnecessary prejudice here, but okay. It was just kind of wild.
That Jedi elitism.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To bite him in the ass yet again.
Combined with the Mandalorian elitism. Let's
Yes,
remember,
yeah.
Mandalore lost that war.
That's
And
fair.
Fenrir was like, it's fair.
Yeah, fair critique. As harsh as Kanan was being, Sabine was also very harsh back to Kanan, especially towards the end of this episode. She was
Mhm.
just like firing on all cylinders here,
Mhm.
which
Yep.
was a lot. And once again, we have the question, how are there no therapists in space? Like, these people need help. Like, Sabine is in crisis. Kanan is like taking it out on this poor girl. He like is still coping with his blindness. Then he's got Ezra, who's like this moody teenager who like may or may not be leaning towards the dark side. Hera's just like trying to keep shit together. You know, Zeb is like figuring out his sexuality with,
Yeah, he is.
with Callus. It's just
Definitely
like there's a lot
questioning.
going on. So like we just need somebody to help us figure this out.
Desperately.
There was a part in this episode where I was immediately taken to Harry Potter, and it is when Ezra is talking to Sabine and he says, at least you have parents. And that was such Harry to Ron, when Ron is like complaining and he's just like, well, blah, blah, blah. And then Harry's like, I don't have parents. Like, so it was awkward, but it was good. It was,
Yeah.
I feel like that helped Sabine be like, you're right. Like, at least I have a relationship that I could try and salvage with
Right.
my
And that's
mom.
that's that brother sister stuff. That's the brutal honesty that you need to hear in the moment. It's
Mhm.
not harsh
Yes.
per se. It's just truth.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was also probably hard to hear.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Okay, my next note just says Hera is the only acceptable space parent. OMG. Like, just take everybody else's credentials away. They don't deserve to have kids. This next note just says family apologizing to each other is hot. I just like, I
Yes.
loved it. It was just so good that they did that. And
Lots
again,
of conflict resolution in this
Yes!
episode.
Mhm.
it was just like amazing how they talked it out. They like Sabine apologizing and Kanan apologizing. It was just like, this is what grown-ups do, and like this is how society should be, and how much better society would be if we could just, you know, be straight up and talk about our feelings and apologize to each other when we fuck up.
Yep.
So that was just so good. Okay, then Sabine ignites the Darksaber, and I swear to God, I thought she was going to cut her face off. Like, why would she? First of all, nobody gave her directions. What is up with that? And then they're just like, he's just like, ignite it, and she's like, boom, and it's like right under her face, and I was like, you nearly died. I don't know what to tell you.
Hold it away from the body.
To be fair, igniting a lightsaber takes very few directions. It's flip a switch.
Okay, fair. However, maybe it should be like, hold it down, like down and out when you ignite it, like not next to your neck. Don't be like, I'm gonna ignite it.
But how not badass would that look?
I mean, pretty badass, except you're dead, so kind of useless at this point. I again like am really hoping there's a training mode on these lightsabers, because they were again not pulling punches at all, and I was like, somebody's gonna die, so that made me super nervous. Then like Kanan, who had been doing so well, had been like apologizing, gave her the Darksaber, blah blah. Then he starts hitting her with reverse psychology and is like, you should quit. And it's like,
Mhm.
you're a bitch, Kanan. Can you stop? Like, what are you doing? Anyways, I was just like really not into that. I do not respond well to reverse psychology. I do not respond well to like that kind of pressure. So I was like, Sabine, just hit him. Like,
Oh,
She did.
I loved those moments though. That's the classic. That is the classic like coaching montage point where they break through to the kid in some way. Like,
You have to know it has to be the right kid at the right moment.
and I think that's where she was.
And I think she was at that place where it could work.
She needed
It
to
could
let
have
that
backfired
out.
horribly.
She needed to let that
Yeah,
out.
she did.
I fully agree that she needed to let her story out, and like it was great to hear it, but like I didn't want to hear it, and I'm not sure she wanted to tell it in this like moment of anger towards Kanan. Like,
Right.
I understand she may not have said it like in a moment of compassion or like in a calmer moment, but like it just felt like he was, again, not like encouraging her to tell her story, but like goading her to tell her story. And like that feels very different. And it didn't feel good to me that like that's how she had to share her truth instead of
Fair.
like it being something that she wanted to do in like a place where she felt safe. I felt like she felt
Right.
threatened.
Yes. It was fight or flight, and she finally fought back.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But
Our poor
I don't know
thing.
that she should have had to do that. And I don't even know that she owed Kanan her story, honestly.
No, I don't think he thought that she owed him. I think he wanted to get it out. Like he's
Yeah.
like something's stopping her, like something's stopping the flow of her chi, of her.
Yeah, something is holding
connection
her.
to the
Something
Force.
is holding her back right now, and
So
we
then
are
he pulled
unfortunately in a
the-
situation where she needs to be on point. Otherwise,
Yeah.
yes, she will stab herself in the
Right.
face.
I don't agree with how he did it. I think it
Yeah, I
needed
mean, I
to be
think
done.
that's my main issue. I wonder if Hera would have done a better job with this than Kanan would
Probably.
have. And it's just like this was not necessary to get out right this minute. Like it didn't feel necessary.
Mhm.
But then of course, everybody kneeling to Sabine. Like I mean,
Queen.
I don't even like I think that's just like what I want in my life is just like people to just like kneel down to me. Because I was just like, this is fabulous. This is it. This is all I've ever wanted. So
Mhm.
it was both like sweet and I don't know. I just like I really like Ezra Sabine. And so like it felt like a little bit like sexual in a way. Like I don't know why I felt that way, but I was just like, go get it, kids. Good job. Okay,
Yes.
so then we get to episode 16, Legacy of Mandalore.
Mhm.
Sabine is heading home.
Yep,
I-
she is.
She's heading home to a gorgeous planet. It's beautiful. Like
hmm
that's I don't even know where that is. It's like a moon, right? Or like a something. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, it's like another planet in the Mandalore system, or like
Yeah.
a moon somewhere around there.
Yeah.
It was
Krownest.
absolutely beautiful. I totally would have moved there. Okay, I totally forgot / didn't realize that Mandalorians have a language.
Yes.
Mhm.
Mandalore.
Did they speak that in the Mandalorian?
They might at some point. I
Uh,
don't remember if they do.
They
Like, the
wri-
only
they
person
write
I
in
could-
it.
Yeah, they're
They
right.
write in it. Okay. Because the only person that I could think of would be the armorer. But like, I was like, but I don't recall subtitles. Like, I mean, I put on subtitles to watch episodes regardless, but like,
Right.
I couldn't remember. And then I was like, Sabine is speaking a different language. Like, do they realize this?
Yes.
So, I mean, I was just impressed. I'm just always impressed with everyone's like multilingualism in Star Wars. And so
Mhm.
good job, Star Schools. Well done. Chopper was definitely in trouble, which made me nervous at the beginning of this. I did not like that at all. I loved Ezra's they shot first. Obviously, like ongoing thing. Nod to our friend Han.
Yes.
Okay, then we get my new BFF,
Woo.
Tristan.
Tristan. Tristan Wren. Yeah, he's hot.
Okay, so first of all, I really like the name Tristan. Super hot. Like Tristan and Sabine are both like really good names. I was just like,
Mhm.
this is fabulous. And at first, like, they didn't tell us that this was her brother. We kind of figured it out because she told us that she had a brother and he's hot and he's there. And so you're like, okay, he's probably her brother. But it was very exciting to find out it was. The Empire Mandalorian snow armors are really cool. They
Yeah.
looked dope. Like they were just super, super cool looking. Really liked it. a lot of these notes are gonna say Sabine's mom sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ursa's not the best.
Countess Ursa Wren.
She's a piece of work. So
Yeah,
that's
she
gonna be
is.
a reoccurring theme in my notes that she's
Mhm.
not a good mom.
It's not.
Okay, when they get there and Ezra's like, hi, and he's just like saying hi to everybody. He's like so awkward, and he's just like, hey everyone, and they're just staring at him like, we're gonna murder you. And that was really funny. I really liked that. And then Kanan goes, less is more.
For real, with the Mandalorians especially.
Okay, this next note says her mom is okay. So throughout this episode, I feel like Ursa went like down, slightly up, back down, back up, way
Yeah.
down, and then like back up. I like could not get a read on her. It was really, really frustrating.
Mhm.
But I also liked it because it kept the episode interesting.
Yes.
But I could understand how having a mom like that would just be very confusing and difficult for Sabine, just because like you don't really know like where you stand or like
No.
what foot to stand on with her. So
Right.
she made me nervous.
What's more important, family or family? Like
Right.
the clan
Mhm.
versus your own family.
Right. I loved so her mom was like, you don't have a claim to it because you didn't win it, right? The Darksaber.
Mhm.
And Sabine's like, I'm holding it. That's a pretty good claim. I was just like, bitch, you are amazing. All about it. So after that, I say, never mind, her mom sucks. And I'm also like, is her mom a narcissist? I feel like her mom is like very into herself and like very into like her own power and like her own like thing. And it's kind of just like, fuck anybody who gets in my way. So
I feel like that's
Fuck
kind of
anyone
like
who gets in
a
her clan's way.
Yeah,
She's
it's like
very
a-
clan centric.
it's like
for
a
sure.
very hardcore Mandalorian trait.
it just felt like a lot.
Yeah,
I really
she's-
want to see the
she is a
Mandalorians go
lot.
up. I want to see the Mandalorian clans go up against the Chiss ruling houses, Colleen.
Oh wow. Oh, that would be something. I don't know if we want to see that. The 9 ruling families would bury them in bureaucracy. For real.
So
Mhm.
then Sabine gives her mom the saber. And it was like, why? Why would you do this? This is clearly a bad choice.
Yeah.
Like, I straight up did not understand why she did this. Like, it's pretty obvious she doesn't trust her mom as far as she can throw her. And yet she gives her the saber. And I was
Yeah.
just like, this is a tough look for you, my girl. But
I'm
then
still not
Fen
sure
Rao comes
why.
in clutch. He grabs Ezra and Kanan's sabers, and you're just like, okay, obviously they're gonna need it. It's gonna be like one of those like throw the saber situation, like we always
Mhm.
get. So I was
Mhm.
into that. My next note says Tristan, don't be a dick. And he was a dick. Obviously like betraying his sister, basically.
Mhm.
My next note says Gar Saxon sucks. Everyone in this
Yeah.
episode blows with blows underlined twice.
Problem with Mandalore is that it's full of Mandalorians.
Jeez. Okay. Then Gar Saxon says, stand with me or die with your family to fucking Tristan. That was intense.
Mhm.
There was just a lot. And then like Fen Rao saves the day. Ezra gives Sabine a lightsaber, which was like,
Yeah.
my mind was just like blown. I was like, this is amazing. I loved it.
Mhm.
He trusts her so much.
There was just a lot. Sabine was just such a badass. Okay, and then they have Gar Saxon, right?
Mhm.
And then they like let him go.
Well, Sabine
they have
was
him,
going to. He dead
but-
now.
Well, okay, but it was just like, why would you not just kill him?
She didn't want to. I mean,
She's wrong.
she was trying to fight that kind of old school Mandalorian thing.
I mean, that shot was set up very much like Anakin and Dooku.
Dooku.
Yes. I thought the exact
The two
same
sabers,
thing.
except
Yes.
she's got more of the Ahsoka vibes because she's holding the sabers like backhanded,
Yes.
Mhm.
but she
Yes.
chooses not to.
I understand that. However, I will continue to defend that Anakin was right to kill Dooku. Dooku would have killed him. Dooku tried to kill him.
Dooku had no
Garza-
hands.
I don't give a fuck. Dooku had a brain and he needed to die because he was going to keep hatching stupid plans to kill Anakin and Obi-Wan. Okay, so like Dooku had to die. Gar Saxon had to die. Like he tried to kill Sabine. Like there is such a thing as self-defense. What is happening here?
Well, and
like,
Ursa did kill him then when he betrayed the rules of Mandalore.
Well, good. Anyways, I was
She's
just like,
yeah, no.
I was super not into it. And then we find out that Sabine is staying. And my heart broke in a million pieces.
Yeah.
And then Fen Rao was also staying, right?
Yes. He's
That
going to be
was
her
just-
protector.
I mean, okay. But like there's Hot Tristan who could be her protector. And then we could see more of Hot Tristan. I was disappointed that she was staying. I understand why she's staying, but it's like having her out of our main plot line is just like tough because like we've grown to really, really like Sabine, especially after these episodes. And so to like take her away from us is it's a tough one. I'm hoping she comes back soon, but man, yeah, I really like Sabine. So that's gonna be a tough one.
I love Sabine.
And yeah, I loved these episodes. I thought they were great. I thought they were action packed. I thought I don't know if they like so much moved the plot forward because I still don't really understand what the plot is. But at
Building
least
alliances.
okay. I guess they did that.
They're trying to plan an attack on Lothal. Is what they're
Okay.
trying to move towards. So they're trying to get more allies for that.
Okay.
That's why they were like, Sabine, yes, get the Darksaber and lead the Mandalorians.
I guess like I mostly like these because when we saw the Darksaber in the Mandalorian, I didn't even know what that was. And then of course I heard you guys talking about it and I was like, oh, okay. But like at least this gave me like a little bit more screen time with the Darksaber. So that was really exciting for me just to like get that sort of background. So I loved it. I thought it was great. 2 good episodes.
Yay.
I'd probably give these guys like 8.5. Yeah, they were really good. I liked
All
them.
right.
Yeah, I love Trials of the Darksaber. It's so beautiful. Oh, the animation's
Yeah.
perfect. You didn't mention Bendu showed up for a hot second. You didn't mention him.
Well, that's why it goes down to 8.5.
Why are you bringing it up now? I tried to just like breeze past it. I nearly threw my computer. I watched this one on my computer and I was just like, fuck this. No, I hate that guy. Why was he there? There was no reason. Like, is he getting some sort of like royalty per episode that he shows up in? Like, he did not need to be there. I'm livid. If they ever make like fucking Bendu merch at Galaxy's Edge, I'm going to buy it just to burn it. I hate it. Get out. No.
So much. The only reason I think he was there is because Sabine finally tapped into the Force.
Yeah.
I think that's
Just a little bit. Like,
he
we have
felt
her,
it.
and we have the Morai, the owls,
Yep, the
which
concept birds were
represent
there.
Ahsoka.
I don't care who's tapping into the Force. He can just keep napping. Like, he
He
does not
should.
need to come up and be like, I felt it.
You should
Like,
be napping.
no. Get the hell out of my life for real, Bendu. You're completely useless.
Also reminding us that he's there because everything in Rebels comes back.
I don't want him to come back. Stop reminding me that he's there.
It's just a
No.
rock, Flo. It's fine. It's just a rock.
I hate it. Ugh.
Okay, before we lose it completely, we are going to move into our 6th holocron, the Conjecture at the Cantina. This is where we ask our questions about the episode and explore some wider Star Wars lore together. And as always, I'm going to kickstart us off with what did Dave Filoni and crew have to say about these episodes? Well, we learned from Dave Filoni on Rebels Recon that the Darksaber was originally supposed to be a vibroblade owned by Pre Vizsla, but George Lucas was like, no. That's not going to stop a lightsaber, which Pre Vizsla is using it for in the Clone Wars. So George created the myth of the Darksaber for Clone Wars. Filoni wanted to focus the entire episode on training for Trials of the Darksaber in order to do a lot of character building, which excellent. He did a great job.
Yeah,
He
definitely.
had, yeah, it was so good. Like, oh, one of those like chills episodes. And I
It was just
definitely
like-
cried.
It was one of those episodes that just like it worked for what they were trying to do.
Exactly.
Yes.
And it's like it's so nice when something just like works out.
Yeah, it clicked. Like everything in the episode was clicking. It was
Yeah.
perfect. he actually had Tia Sircar, who is Sabine's voice actress, record her dialogue before completing the scenes in animation, which is not usually how it's done, because he wanted Sabine's facial features to match Tia's emotions from when she was little.
Interesting.
That's really cool.
I was like, you get it, Dave, get after it. And then she got to record with the actors who were playing her family as well. So she got to record with her mom and her brother so that they could get like a more authentic kind of feel for the dialogue. I love when they do that. It's like sometimes you can tell kind of that it's like, oh, they're not in the same studio together, and you can kind of feel that.
Yeah.
But here it's like the tension is real. Like this is really freaking intense here. He said that Sabine's father, who we might meet later, we might married into Clan Wren. So
Does he look like Tristan?
You'll just
I could go for
No
for Daddy
spoilers.
Wren.
No
for
spoilers.
Daddy Wren. So Ursa's definitely the higher ranking Mandalorian in the marriage. Clan Wren is also not native to the planet of Mandalore, obviously. They were conquered and brought into their culture, and their stronghold is on that planet of Krownest. And then my other question, Flo already covered how she thinks of Kanan as teacher.
Yeah, he needs to go to some professional development. He also needs like his own anger management. Like I think the issue really is that Kanan needs therapy, and like you can't pour from an empty cup, right? And so like his cup is empty, and now he's like kind of lashing out, and like we all lose our patience obviously with our students and like with our own children, and it's just like you have to go back, and at least he apologized. So I'm gonna give him credit for that. Like I try really hard to apologize to my students. I definitely apologize to my daughter all the time. She now takes advantage of it. That's fine, whatever. But at least I'm doing it. But then he came out of it, and then he redug his hole by being like, just quit. So yeah, I mean,
He has a lot to work on.
there's just other tools out there than reverse psychology, Kanan.
There are. So what we really need the ghost to go through some kind of a wormhole and end up in the Star Trek universe where the starships have counselors on board.
There you go. That's exactly what we need. Or Bendu could fucking make himself useful and like be a licensed therapist and actually do something for people.
That would help.
Yeah.
He can build it. He can build a psychology university right next to that factory that you keep telling him they need, Flo.
You know what? I'm sorry that I'm trying to give these planets better infrastructure and better mental health. Okay, I'm sorry for caring.
They do need some shrinks. There are therapists in Legends for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, the poor Jedi, they really needed a lot of
Poor everyone, like poor Leia, poor Luke,
Yes.
like poor everybody.
Yes.
Poor Shmi. Why don't we
Oh,
ever think
poor
about Shmi?
Shmi.
You know who really needed a therapist?
Shmi.
Oh
Mhm.
man.
Shmi deserved better. She deserved so much
Justice
better.
for Shmi.
I concur. I think Anakin got it.
Well,
but
I mean, yeah, Anakin kind of got that justice, but
she should have been
Well,
alive.
justice
think
for
it's
the
a
justice for the
justice that she was
Tusken
asking.
dogs.
Oh, the doggos. Poor
Yeah, that's
beans.
fair. That's actually fair. I won't forgive him for that.
All right,
I forgive him for everything else though.
the younglings, just not the dogs.
Yeah,
No.
there's a line. The line is the dogs. He crossed it.
All right, so on my end, so I'm pretty sure this is definitely the best example we have of this, but Colleen, I don't know if you know off the top of your head, is this the only lightsaber duel we have in Star Wars between two non-Force users? We have Garsax and Sabine out on the ice.
I think so. I cannot think of anything off the top of my head. It's usually two Force users or a non-Force user against a Force user.
Yeah.
Just because lightsabers are so rare, it's very rare that a non-Force user would get a hold of one. Like in the Clone Wars, there's a couple, like Ahsoka's gets stolen,
Yeah.
and this girl is using her lightsaber, or Pre Vizsla uses the Darksaber. So there are people who know how to use them. We just don't see it happen very often, especially in a fight sequence. Because like Han uses one, but not for any sort of battle.
No, just for shelter.
Yeah, exactly. exactly. He's got to slice open that belly. Poor,
Yep.
oh, poor Tauntaun. Rest in peace,
Oh, the
Tauntaun.
Tauntauns.
It was
Oh,
a
rest in peace.
necessary
All
loss.
the ones that got
Was.
driven out to make that
Mm.
base. I just read from a certain point of view, The Empire Strikes Back, the short stories, and there are a lot of Tauntauns and several Wampas that get driven from their homes to make that rebel base on Hoth.
I'm not surprised.
Man,
I'm not surprised.
people suck.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
really do.
Those sentient beings. Oh yes.
Anyway, some of my other questions about this episode would tend to be kind of center around the Darksaber and the Darksaber lore. We've kind of covered that pretty extensively through previous episodes. So if you want to know some more about our thoughts, our takes, and some more history on that, check out our Sabine Wren character study series, where we do a decent amount, I think, on the Darksaber, our Rebels episode on visions and voices. And pretty sure we do something about Mandalore and culture and all that stuff during our Mandalorian coverage.
What? Shocking.
When that Darksaber turned up and Flo was like, wait, what's that?
Honestly, I was
What's
so
this
confused.
Weird dark sabery thing showing up.
Well, and you know how I am with the light settings on my TV. I was like, I can't see a thing.
Yeah. So next up, so Flo, you mentioned this earlier, and we actually discussed this. I think I brought this up a little bit on the Twilight Apprentice episode. You know, Sabine does show mercy to Gar Saxon by not killing him.
Mhm.
But in the end, Gar still ends up shot dead. So, like, you do that to kind of keep Sabine pure and, like, not have that blood on her hands. But is she morally clean on that front if it's the same freaking result?
I think so. Ursa did it.
Yeah, but it was like, in the scheme of things, it's like it still had to be done.
Yeah.
It's like
I don't think it makes her pure. I think it makes her dumb, to be honest. Like, I honestly
Mercy is
like
madness.
I would.
Flo chooses
can't-
violence.
I can't imagine myself ever killing somebody, and like I'm very like anti-violence in my own life. However, like if somebody came for like Charlotte, my daughter, for example, like there's no doubt I am fucking killing you. Like, and there will be no mercy. So like he tried to kill her, he tried to kill her friends, he tried to kill her family. Yeah, like Gar Saxon needed to die. And then like it just shows that she was dumb because she turns around and he tries to kill her. So
Yeah, she could
it's like this is just like a poor judgment here, Sabine. Like I understand that, you know, she was trying to keep her, if we're going to talk in Harry Potter terms, like keep her soul intact and not like rip it apart. But like you're in a war. I don't really know what else to tell you.
it was definitely a choice. And I'm pretty sure like most of the Mandalorians who were standing there were like, what the fuck are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Which is why Ursa was keeping a real close eye on the situation. Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Right.
I think she is, I mean, morally, it's kind of hard to say, but she didn't pull the trigger. I mean,
Look, she's killed other people, right? Like
Yes.
she's blown up people right and left with explosives. She's like shot a blaster at a bunch of stormtroopers. Like, why is this any different? Except he's right there and his helmet's off. Like, come on. Come on. No, I'm not into it.
All
they
right.
needed to make us like Ursa a little bit.
I still don't like Ursa.
That's okay.
Mhm.
So it's also pretty timely that we're discussing these episodes, the big focus on Sabine, when rumors are abound in the last couple of weeks about Disney and Lucasfilm searching for their live action Sabine to cast in the upcoming Ahsoka series.
Mhm.
So Star Wars social media has just been buzzing, to say the least. A lot of people say that you should just hand this part straight to Tia Sarkar, who does the voice for Sabine. She posted a very, very nice heartfelt message on Instagram and I think Twitter as well about how thankful she is for all the support that the fans are showing her. And I'm curious what you guys think, because I'm like of two minds on this one.
Yeah. Oh, this is a really hard one for me because I love her and I think she would be great as Sabine. But
Like-
also Sabine is supposed to be more of an Asian inspired character, like Japanese, Chinese, Korean. So that also gets a little bit trickier because yes, Tia Sircar is Asian descent, but the character is more coded a certain way. And I know that community would be really excited if Sabine were played by an Asian actress.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really tough to say. I mean, Jessica Henwick would be my personal choice, and she's already in the Star Wars family.
That's true.
And I think she
she'd
would
be
be
good.
She'd be really good, and she has a martial arts style background.
That's one of my
She can handle
things.
that.
So like the two two characters that we've seen so far kind of transitioned from animation to live action. We've seen Ahsoka, who was voiced by Ashley Eckstein and ultimately played by Rosario Dawson.
Mhm.
I didn't question that choice like at all, mostly because Ashley Eckstein is a phenomenal voice actress. She's an amazing member of the Star Wars universe. She embraces the fandom and everything so well, and she does a great job. I don't know if she's ever actually really done any like live action acting before,
Right.
particularly not a very action heavy role.
Right.
Then you get someone like Katie Sackhoff for Bo-Katan, who, I mean, Katie Sackhoff is an action star. she
Well, and
already is.
Yeah, they based the character to look like her a little bit too,
Yeah, they had already like kind of done that.
so it was an easier transition.
And Tia's kind of like somewhere in the middle there. Like she has done live action roles before, but literally the only thing that I think I've seen her in is The Good Place, which is obviously a very comedy centric
Yeah,
thing.
she's more of a comedian.
She's definitely more of a comedian. That's not to say though that she can't. Like, I mean,
Right. No, she could
take a look
probably
at
do it.
Chris Pratt gets in shape to be an action star. I have no doubt that she could do that.
Right.
But it's one of those things. I'm just like, it's not like an instant thing in my mind. But I also don't know if I'm just like being too critical on that front. So never know.
Okay, I'm gonna throw a name out there
Connie
because
Lau.
Is it Connie?
Connie Lau? Friend of the
Connie
pod?
Lau would be incredible. Shouts to our friend Connie Lau, who would be incredible. No, this is going to be like just as much of a dark horse, actually. I'm going to shout out somebody who clearly like has the like physical skills to be Sabine and like flip around. However, has not been tested in terms of acting. And I'm going to go with gold medalist Suni Lee. Who would be
Oh, that could be
incredible.
interesting.
That would be
Right?
cool.
That could be really interesting.
She's adorable. She's a little too young, I think.
And also, I don't.
Not that old.
I'm not sure.
Oh, Sabine's
about
supposed to be
this
in her 30s.
What? Wait,
think.
Tio!
Sorry. Right here, Flo. She's a teenager. But
Okay.
the
For the
casting
Ahsoka
is
series.
for the
Yeah, for
Ahsoka
the
series,
Ahsoka
which is
series,
in the
yeah.
timeline of the Mandalorian.
Okay, so
She
you're
might be
looking
a little
at
young.
live action Rebels, Suni Lee as
Yes,
Sabine.
she'd be great.
For
She would
30s, I'm
be-
gonna go with Brenda Song though.
Oh, that'd be a good choice.
That would be a good one.
Thank you.
hmm
London Tipton.
There are so many great choices, and that's
Absolutely.
the difficult part. Like, yes, Tia would be amazing if she
Yeah.
could get this role, but I don't know if she has the physicality to do it, and she doesn't have to necessarily.
Sure.
But if
But
they
you know
could
who
get an
does?
actress,
Suni Lee.
heck yeah, yes, she does.
Yes, she does.
She'd be able to do all this sense.
What a queen. hmm
Mm.
So that's my vote.
All right.
I like it.
All right. Well, that is going to wrap it up for us today, everybody. So tune in with us next time as we continue our season 3 coverage and take a look through some Imperial eyes. I think Flo's going to be happy next week.
Is there a lot of callus?
Maybe.
Until then, follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us those 5-star reviews. Check out our website on bohemiangeekstudies.com. You can catch all of our episodes. Enjoy Colleen's Book Corner, where she reviews Star Wars literature, and contact us through email and social media. As always, keep telling other nerdy knights to join us. It really does help. We are in how many countries now, Flo?
It was 47, 48 last time I checked.
Woo!
Oh, we're almost to 50.
I know. That's
Yeah.
all word of mouth, guys. Just keep telling people to join us.
That's right.
Head over to ForgottenEntertainment.com. Check out all the offerings from the Forgotten Entertainment family, including yet another Star Wars podcast, where we examined the films in the Star Wars canon. And we're getting ready to record some new episodes for that coming up this fall.
Mhm.
Until next time, though, Darksaber's up and keep those episodes streaming. Bye, everybody.
Yes.
I
Bye,
stand
everybody.
corrected. We are in 51 countries.
Oh
Yes,
my.
we crossed the totally
50.
arbitrary barrier.
We're 51.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Cheers. Bye, everybody.